You say you want to be rich. You say you want financial freedom. But deep down, money terrifies you. Not because you're lazy, not because you don't deserve it, but because somewhere in your subconscious, you've learned that money is dangerous. Dangerous to chase, dangerous to lose, dangerous to have. Let's be honest. How many times have you sabotaged your own success? You save for a month, then suddenly reward yourself. You make a profit trade, then take 3 impulsive ones to give it all back. You tell yourself, I'm just bad with money. But that's not true. You're not bad with money, you're emotionally allergic to it. Here's the paradox. Everyone wants more money, but most people's nervous systems can't handle it. They crave wealth intellectually, but fear it biologically. And this is the invisible reason why 9 out of 10 traders, entrepreneurs, and investors end up right back where they started. Because your relationship with money isn't logical, it's psychological. And until you rewire that, nothing else matters. Stay with me, because once you see the truth about your money fears, you can finally stop chasing wealth and start attracting it. Let's talk about what's really happening inside you when you say you want to be rich. See, most people believe they're chasing money for freedom, but what they're actually chasing is safety. They think money will make them safe, but their nervous system doesn't believe it. Your entire life, you've been taught 2 conflicting lessons. Money is power and money is evil. So what happens? You grow up chasing what you're secretly afraid to catch. You trade with hesitation. You undercut your winners. You take tiny positions when you should size up and massive positions when you should protect yourself. Not because you're undisciplined, but because your brain literally interprets wealth as danger. Here's what we're going to do in this video. We're going to expose the 5 psychological fears that secretly make you repel money even while you're chasing it. By the end, you'll understand why you panic after profits, why you can't hold gains, and why every time your account starts growing, something mysteriously goes wrong. And more importantly, you'll know how to fix it. Stay till the end, because insight number 5, the self-worth inversion, is what flipped my own trading results from losses to consistent gains. Now, let me ask you something before we begin. When money shows up, whether in your account, in your business, or even in your hand, do you feel calm or do you feel pressure? Comment below, calm or pressure. You might think this is a small question, but your answer reveals everything about how your brain really sees money. Let's dive in. Chapter 1, the scarcity imprint, your first money memory. Let's start at the source. Think about your earliest memory of money. Not the first time you earned it, the first time you saw it matter. Maybe it was your parents arguing over bills. Maybe it was your mom saying, "We can't afford that." Maybe it was your dad working 2 jobs, exhausted, saying, "Money doesn't grow on trees." That sentence, "we can't afford it," becomes more than a phrase. It becomes a belief system. Your brain links money with conflict. So as an adult, every time money grows in your life, your subconscious mind tries to recreate what it knows. Conflict, chaos, scarcity. There's neuroscience behind this. Your amygdala, the fear center of your brain, stores emotional memories much stronger than logical ones. So when you try to get rich, you're not just fighting markets or business challenges. You're fighting your own wiring. Here's the paradox. You're trying to earn what your nervous system associates with pain. That's why most people's income thermostat always resets. They make more, then unconsciously create a reason to lose it. We see this with lottery winners. 70% go broke within 5 years. Not because they're stupid, but because their subconscious equates wealth with danger. You can't outperform the thermostat you refuse to reset. So, step 1, rewrite your first money memory. Literally sit down tonight and write, what did money mean to me as a child? Then write what it means to you now. That act alone starts to separate the old programming from the new one. Money doesn't trigger you anymore. It becomes neutral. And neutrality is the foundation of wealth. Chapter 2, the guilt reflex. Why you feel wrong when you win. Ever made a big gain and felt uncomfortable? Maybe it was a great trade, a big paycheck, or your first high-ticket sale. But instead of celebration, you felt anxiety. You thought, do I even deserve this? That's called the guilt reflex. and it's deadly to wealth because guilt is the brain's way of bringing you back to your familiar identity. If you grew up in a household where struggle was normal, success will feel like betrayal, betrayal of your past, betrayal of your parents, betrayal of the group. Your body feels that tension and unconsciously finds ways to release it by losing money. This isn't philosophy, it's psychology. MIT researchers found that people who feel undeserving of wealth experience higher cortisol spikes after receiving unexpected gains, literally interpreting winning as stress. That's why so many traders can't hold their winners. They cut profits short, overtrade, or self-sabotage right after success, not to lose, but to feel normal again. We call this equilibrium destruction. It's your nervous system forcing balance between who you think you are and the results you're getting. So what's the solution? Stop trying to feel deserving. That's ego. Instead, adopt neutrality. Money doesn't validate you and it doesn't shame you. It's feedback, not judgment. When you decouple your worth from your wealth, you remove guilt from the equation. And the moment guilt disappears, wealth has permission to stay. Chapter 3, the control illusion. Why you panic around money. Here's the irony. People think more money equals more control, but most people fear control because control means responsibility, and responsibility feels like pressure. When your account balance is small, you can take risks freely. It doesn't matter. But when it grows, suddenly every tick feels like life or death. That's not financial stress, that's psychological dissonance. Your identity hasn't caught up to your balance. In neuroscience, this is called the disparity conflict. The prefrontal cortex, logical brain, says, we're fine. The limbic system, emotional brain, screams, this is too much responsibility. That's why traders get shaky hands as soon as their position size increases. Same setup, same logic, different emotional load. So they make irrational choices to reduce control, closing winners too early, over-leveraging, forgetting stop losses. Unconsciously, they're saying, take this pressure away from me. The fix? Gradual exposure. Just like a Navy SEAL doesn't start training in live combat, you don't start managing size beyond your emotional threshold. Increase position size by 10% each week, not 100. Journal your physiological reactions, heart rate, breathing, focus. Your goal isn't to make more, it's to feel safe with more. Because until you feel safe with money, you'll always find ways to lose it. Chapter 4, the pleasure paradox. Why you're addicted to struggle. Here's where it gets dark. Your brain might be addicted to the feeling of losing. Sounds insane, right? But dopamine doesn't just respond to rewards, it responds to uncertainty. The anticipation of gain triggers more dopamine than the gain itself. So if you've built your identity around the hustle, the grind, the comeback, your brain has learned to associate excitement with struggle, not success. That's why every time things get calm and stable, you get restless. You create chaos to feel alive again. It's not that you can't win, it's that winning feels boring. This is why so many traders sabotage themselves after a good month, because subconsciously, peace feels like danger. The brain whispers, something's wrong, this is too easy. So it manufactures drama. Suddenly, you're overtrading, forcing setups, breaking rules, anything to restore the familiar high of struggle. This is called dopamine mismatch. You're addicted not to profits, but to the emotional volatility of chasing them. To fix it, you have to retrain your brain to find dopamine in discipline, not drama. That means tracking consistency, not excitement. Celebrate boredom, because boredom means you're finally operating from process, not emotion. And in trading, boredom pays. Chapter 5, the self-worth inversion. Why you'll only earn what you believe you deserve. This one hits the hardest. Every person has an internal number, a self-worth ceiling. You'll never sustainably earn above what your subconscious believes you deserve. If that ceiling is $50,000, you'll find ways to self-destruct every time you approach it. This is why raises vanish, profits reverse, and opportunities slip away. It's not bad luck, it's energetic alignment. Your outer wealth can't exceed your inner worth. Psychologists call this self-concept congruence. You can temporarily break the ceiling, but you'll always crash back down unless your identity expands. That's why traders who get funded accounts lose them. They don't subconsciously identify as people who can manage big money. It feels foreign, unsafe. So their actions unconsciously bring them back to the level they can emotionally handle. Here's the shift. Stop chasing money as proof of worth. Start earning as an expression of worth. One comes from scarcity, the other from power. Every morning before you trade or work, ask, what income level feels uncomfortable to me? That discomfort is your growth target. You don't need new strategies. You need a new self-concept that matches the income you claim to want. Because until you become the person who feels safe with wealth, you'll keep losing it to stay comfortable with who you are. Climax. Let's tie this together. You think your problem is financial. It's not. It's neurological. You've been trying to earn money with a brain that's wired to fear it. That's like trying to fill a leaking bucket. Every strategy, every setup, every opportunity, it all drains out through invisible cracks called guilt, fear, and self-sabotage. But here's the turning point. You can rewire it, because fear of money isn't permanent. It's learned. And anything learned can be unlearned. Picture this. A trader who once panicked at $1,000 positions now calmly manages $10,000. Not because the market changed, because his nervous system evolved. He stopped chasing the thrill of struggle. He stopped needing to prove himself. He stopped treating money like a mirror of his worth. He started treating it like data, neutral, emotionless, infinite. When you reach that point, everything shifts. Money stops being loud. It stops triggering you. It stops defining you. It just flows through you because you finally stopped blocking it. Let that sink in. You are never afraid of losing money. You are afraid of having it, because having it meant responsibility, guilt, and pressure. But when you redefine money as a tool, not a test, all that disappears. And that's when you finally start to build real wealth. Not the kind that impresses others, the kind that sets you free. So you want to be rich? Good. But now you know the truth. You don't need more hustle. You need less fear. Money doesn't respond to effort. It responds to energy. If your energy is panic, guilt, or scarcity, it will keep running from you. If your energy is calm, neutral, focused, it will find you. Remember the 5 truths we uncovered today. You inherited a scarcity imprint. Rewrite it. You carry a guilt reflex. Release it. You suffer from the control illusion. Master it. You live in the pleasure paradox. Transcend it. And you operate under the self-worth inversion. Rebuild it. This isn't motivational talk. It's neural reprogramming. Because when your nervous system feels safe with wealth, wealth becomes inevitable. Now here's your action plan. Tonight, write your money story from your first memory to your current belief. Then rewrite it. Literally. Replace money as stress with money as structure. Replace I lose it fast with I manage it well. Read it every morning for 30 days. You'll feel your energy shift, not instantly, but permanently. If this hit you hard, like if something inside you just clicked, then leave a comment below. Safe with money. That's your declaration. Because once you feel safe with it, you stop chasing it. And that's when it finally shows up. Subscribe if you want more of these deep rewires. Next week, we're breaking down the psychology of wealth expansion, how traders multiply profits without increasing risk. Until then, remember, money isn't a monster. It's a mirror. It reflects exactly how you feel about yourself. Fix the reflection and the balance will follow.